Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards.
Welcome to another episode of Chattin with Chelsea. I'm your daytime bestie, Chelsea Edwards. Let's be honest, many of us have family members we wish would get lost, like Bermuda Triangle lost, all right? But today's show is about the ones we are hoping to find. We have an author who traced her own family tree, and she is sharing tips on how you can get started finding your long-lost family members. But first, we have a man who created a powerful documentary about finding his father for the first time at the age of 40.
I've done all these things. I got my wife, my family. Why do I need to find a dad? He needed that missing puzzle piece.
That was just a little taste, a little snippet of Finding Ben, the true story of filmmaker and co-founder of Mo Brunch and Brews, Courtney Lindsay, finding his dad.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Wow, well, we hear your wife who directed this documentary in that clip. What was it that made you feel like at the age of 40, I need to find him?
Well, so the thing about it is, if it was up to me, I would have left it alone.
Yeah, okay.
Because I felt like I was content with just living. I'm 40 years old. I'm good. I don't need to find a daddy. I'm a restaurateur. I've lived enough life. You know what I mean? To be okay with it, right? And so at 40, I'm like, what else can I gain from that? But she was praying. She was asking questions, and she just wouldn't let up. It took about 2 years for her to kind of wear on me. Yeah, I was 38 when I found out. Okay, I might have a dad out there somewhere. And then so she brought it up to me. She said, hey, a friend of mine found his dad on 23andMe, then found his dad on social media. And it's a good guy, they look similar, they do the same business. Like, look, it's a good story, right? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you're doing. So yeah. So she wanted to kind of like trap me into like, because I like the ancestry DNA type testing things. And so I'm like, okay. So I went on ahead and I got the kit, and then the 23andMe kit, and then I decided to go ahead and do it.
Go ahead and do it.
Yep.
Now, growing up, did you ever feel like there was a need to find your dad?
So I had a stepfather.
Okay.
All right. And then I had a so-called biological father, but I really I maybe only seen him maybe like twice in my childhood, right? Okay. So it wasn't a real connection. And then I seen him once when I was in 9th grade, and then that wasn't the best. So then I was like, you know what, I'm good, Okay. And I didn't see him again until I was a freshman in college.
Okay.
Had an incident. I didn't see him again until I was graduating college. You know what I mean? So it was just, I could never connect the dots. And then also I was always like looking at him to kind of figure out, to find myself in him, right? To see like if I look like him, do I have the same eyes? And I just couldn't find anything. My mom is tall, that guy's short. My mom has a gap, he has a gap. My teeth are straight and, closed in. So I'm like, I'm just not connecting it.
Yeah.
And I would joke with my mom, I'm like, man, who is, that's not, come on, tell me the truth. This ain't my dad.
You didn't even think that was like for real.
Yeah, I just was like, but for the sake of it, sure.
Okay, all right. So then what was it that triggered you or clued you in when you were 38? What was it that said, okay, like, he's for real, like this is a real person that's out there?
Well, I only have a few baby pictures out there, right? And I'm always frowning, you know what I mean? Like I always got like
serious
this.
Baby.
Yeah. And so I got one baby picture that's not the best looking baby picture, but I'm looking at that picture and I'm like, it was some predatory activity in the family, and like most families have some type of secrets or something like that. And I was looking at that picture and I was like, I hope that that's not the case, right? And so I thought that it could be a traumatic experience around my birth and my conception, through my mother, right?
Yeah.
And so, but if that was the case, I didn't want to have anything to do with that. If it was an inheritance, anything, I don't want any of that to spill over into me because that's not me, right? And so I was willing to leave it alone. then I had a relative that kind of blew the lid off of the whole thing, because I had asked her, had she heard anything? She's like, no, I never heard anything like that.
Okay.
But she's like, you don't want to know? I'm like, I'm good, you know? And I was good for a while until, you know, 2 years later, you know, she kind of, well, a little bit, you know, about a year or so later, she was like, she called me and kind of blew the lid off of it, and I was like, okay, now I have to have a conversation with my mom.
Yeah,
you know,
you got to dig into that.
Yeah, and I was willing to be good with it, because I'm like, if my so-called biological father, he'd be hurt, you know, my sister from him, she'd be hurt. I'm just thinking about all the people. My mom would be hurt because she had to relive those things. Everybody be affected except me, because I really don't care enough to, you know, be affected, right? And so I was good with that, with not knowing. Yeah.
All right, but now you know.
But now I know.
Now you have the full story.
And it wasn't the traumatic experience. It wasn't all of the things that I was, you know, running from.
About. Yes. Okay. Well, we got to hear more.
Yeah.
And your dad is here with us today, so we're going to bring him in, and your lovely wife, Chastity. We're going to take a quick break first, though, you guys, and we'll be right back with more after this. Finding Ben is a heartfelt documentary about Courtney Lindsay finally finding his father at the age of 40. Joining us now, your father, Ben, and your wife, Chastity, who also watched this whole journey. Yes. Now, you thought another man was your biological father for quite some time, and then you were able to start this process of finding Ben, actually. Ben, what did you know Courtney existed?
No, I had no idea whatsoever. And I have nephews, so I would pretend my nephews and always present them as a fatherhood figure. But having a son of my own, I had no idea whatsoever.
Wow. And then what was your reaction when you finally found that Courtney existed, that this was your son?
Oh, wow, my heart just opened up just tremendously. And I was just enthralled with excitement. And I was saying to myself, boy, you just don't know how much I can love you. And I just couldn't believe that was the blessing for me.
Yes, what a blessing. Now, Chastity, you watched this whole thing unfold, and you even encouraged Courtney to go ahead and get into this process, go ahead and find his father.
Low-key bullied him.
Low-key bullied, I love it. I love the real. Why did you think this was important?
Man, I would honestly just look at our two boys and just wonder what made them who they were. Like, you know, like just little things like Kai's hair and Chase's laugh, and even looking at Courtney, like where did this genuine love and appreciation for people come from? Like, I just knew he was just unique in such a way that it didn't come from, you know, nothing. So I'm like, dude, we have got to look. We've got to figure this out. Now, so I knew we were going to find somebody good. I just had a good feeling.
Yes. Now, did you immediately see those things in him and Courtney, same thing?
What? When I finally met Ben, I met Ben the next day after they had met.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I sat back and I just started snapping pictures, and I mean, down to the mannerisms. It was very odd to see, but it was just like looking into the future. I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't.
Courtney, did you see that, or were you too close to eat?
No. I saw when I had a picture first, and I held a picture up, and I looked in the mirror, and it was like looking into like a time warp.
Wow.
You know, just older me. You know, the wrinkles, the forehead, the chin, you know, the teeth, everything. You know, it was just like I done found my daddy. I done messed around and found my daddy.
Messed around.
You know, I done messed around and found my daddy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What was that process? Once you figured it out, was it just a matter of, hey, let's make a phone call, let's get it together?
So I had found a relative, so I realized which lineage or family I was in, because it was his uncle's last name his uncle's name is Ben Wilson. Played in the NFL, played in one of the first Super Bowls, you know, and so we could find him, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, bet now we can find another relative. And so I tracked the relative down, I called up, and I said, I might be related to you, you know, and then she's like, really? And so she was the one that actually sent the photo in to me and then send my number to him.
Wow. Now, Ben, you didn't just gain a son. You gained a daughter-in-law. You gained grandkids. What has it been like having this whole family now?
Oh, a bucket of tears of joy. It's been like, I mean, just when they catch me off guard, because I see certain behaviors and characteristics that mirrors me. And so I just break down in some moments of joy and experiences of such. But it's been a lot of happy. It's been a lot of love.
It's beautiful to watch. I watched Courtney fall in love, you know, just by the way I mean, you would have thought he just met a new girl. I was like, he in there singing about all the singing while he could.
Okay.
Yeah, you were. It was just a new level. It was like that last little layer that had been pulled back of vulnerability. And I think after meeting Ben, like, and how he just mentioned, like, he's the emotional guy. He'll cry at the drop of a dime. Like, it almost like it gave him permission to be vulnerable in such a way that I had never seen. Yeah. And so that I was like, this is why I needed this to happen.
Yes.
And it's been beautiful.
And you know the family history on that side as well. So there were things that you knew about Ben that you were seeing in him. You were like, oh, this is from your family.
Absolutely. I even have a nephew, and his name is Jerome Jr., the third. And I was looking at him, and he was asleep at my place and just chilling at the house with me. But I was admiring him and looking at him. And he woke up, and I looked at him, I said, boy, if I ever had a son, I said, he'll look like you. And he like, oh, Unc. In less than 2 weeks, I met Courtney. And if you put their pictures together, you'll see why I said that.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
It's so cool that you get to hear those stories now as well.
Yes.
And then in cooking, I mean, you all own Mo Brunch and Brews, which I love. But that was something else that was also from your side of the family as well.
Yes, my grandmother, she called it the Trojan Club Restaurant. My Uncle Ben, formerly played with the Green Bay Packers. My Uncle Ben had gotten one of the first 4-year scholarships to USC. And so my grandmother named the restaurant from the mascot.
Wow.
That's how it
Trojan
came to
Club,
be.
yeah.
She gave me my first job. I was 12 years old when I worked for my grandmother. That was her dishwasher and her shrimp pillar.
That's amazing.
And that's how, but cooking, yes. Designing, creating. It seemed that I was a part of that. I even wanted to be an actor at one time when I was a younger teen. And some things had happened, unfortunately, in my life that changed that. We lost my mom on a tragic. And it just put my life in a spiral. So I missed out, but as I thought, and I accepted it, through tears and the way that I packed my resentment and agony for the despair and the loneliness. But God just continued to lead me on through it all. And he just told me, hey, it's not as bad as you think, look. And I had a phone call to call my son.
Wow.
40 years later.
40 years later.
June 17th was my mother's birthday. June 17th is the day that I called him and met him.
Wow. That is
June 17th. It was nothing but.
And the day after Father's Day.
Yep.
The day
And the
after
day
Father's
after
Day.
Father's Day.
And you finally got to say Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. What?
A year later.
A year later. So beautiful. I love hearing about this story. You guys, where can people find out when you are doing the documentary again?
Right. So we're doing
that.
another screening this upcoming December. You'll be able to find updates about it through Courtney's page on his Instagram page, Chef Courtney HTX. So if you follow him, you'll get all the updates. We'll also update on his website, chefcourtneylindsay.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all of you coming here and sharing this story.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. We'll be back with an author who can help you get started on this journey of finding long-lost family members.
Come back to me.
If you're ready to start digging into your family history, we've got the perfect guest for you. Welcome author Ella Shines Goldsmith. You wrote How to Research and Create Your Own Family Tree in 5 Easy Steps. Easy, I might say, because this is a quick read.
Yes.
You really wanted people to be able to follow along and do this as you did, like recreating your family tree.
That's correct.
What put you on that journey to start with?
Well, years ago, I decided to kind of dig into my family history, and so I decided to go on Ancestry and just kind of see, you know, where did I come from, where did my families come from, and just kind of just do a deep dive into my family history.
Okay, so Ancestry.com, that website,
Yes, that's where I
that was
started.
your starting point.
Yes.
What was the first thing that you found out that opened your eyes?
Well, I found out there's stories that my family had passed down through the generations, and one was that my great-great-grandfather was a slave owner, and his son married my great-grandmother.
Oh, wow.
And so she was a slave, and so they got together. The marriage wasn't legal back then, but you know, they cohabitated and they had children, and he actually was ostracized by his family for marrying a slave.
Wow.
But you know, he did, and hence I'm
Yeah,
here.
He was in it with her.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that was a story that your family kind of knew about, and you were
Yes.
able to trace like
Yes.
the actual document?
Yes, yes. She actually, there's the story that she was putting cotton in a cotton gin, and her finger got caught in the gin and it started bleeding, and then he, as a little boy, saw her and had compassion on her and say, one day I'm going to take you away from all of this. And so years later, when he got older, they married, and the rest is history.
Yes, yes.
Literally.
And here you are down the line.
Exactly.
What did you do? What was the next step? After you started with Ancestry, you got some of that preliminary information. What is the next step to diving deeper?
Yes, always DNA.
Okay.
DNA is very critical to finding people that you didn't know existed, cousins, you know, family members. I've known people to find parents that they didn't know were their parents, things like that. So yeah, it's DNA is very critical, especially for the African American community, because our records were lost back in, you know, we didn't have records before we came to America. So, and then we didn't have last names. You know, a lot of our history was robbed from us. So we had to base it on people telling us things and things like that. So the Freedmen's Bureau is another source to go and look for your relatives after the Civil War. So yeah, those are some of the resources that you can go. The slave schedules.
The slave schedules.
In the census.
Oh, okay. All right. Are these all things that people can look up online?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And you just need, how much information do you need to start with?
You need to start with basic. You start with yourself, then you go to your parents. Then you go to your grandparents. Most people know their parents and their grandparents. People know, like, you know, if you have information on where they were born, or maybe the year they were born. Those kind of, and then you just go, the census is every 10 years, so you can just keep going back. And then sometimes, you know, when you're talking to people, talk to relatives, talk to friends, people, neighbors that lived when you were growing up. All of these are clues that can help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you've been able to actually come in contact with other family members who you didn't know before.
Yes.
What was that conversation like, and how did you reach out to them? Because I can imagine it'd be a little awkward.
Yes, yes. Facebook is a good resource to contact people. You know, people are used to you DMing them or, you know, contact them. So that's a good place to start. If you find out you have a relative or you think you might have a relative, just go on Facebook and just, if you have a name, you can search them and then just send them a message.
Okay.
Yeah,
What did your message say? Hey, I'm
Hi,
Ella.
DNA says we're possibly related. So, you know, who do you know? Do you know this person? You give them some, you know, your parents, grandparents, great-parents names, and then the names may sound familiar to them. So, yeah.
Did you get a lot of responses back?
I did.
this?
I got a lot of responses back from people. So people are usually interested in finding out who they're related to. So
What has that been like, being able to find these people? And then, I mean, it's a whole branch that you didn't know
There's
about.
fourth, fifth, and sixth cousins. And I'm like, I don't know these people. They're strangers to me, but there's like hundreds of them out there that are related to me. Hundreds.
Is it, I guess, fulfilling a part of your history? Is it kind of filling a space for you to do all of this research? Because you are putting a lot of work in.
Yes, yes. I just love doing it. It's just interesting to me. I've done it for my family, my friends. I even have done it for my fiance. So yeah, I've done it for a lot of people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
you're a pro at this.
Yes.
And then you've written other books just based on what you found.
Yes, yes. There's my other great-grandmother, my maternal great-grandmother, found out that she was also a slave, and that so I wrote a book on her. Her name was Illinois. So that book series is called Illinois Strong, and there's a trilogy. It's a 3-part. So my genre is historical fiction. So I take a story, and then I research, and then I add to it to make it a complete story.
I love that.
Yeah.
Where can people find your other books?
All of my
including
books
this
are
one?
on Amazon, Amazon.com, and also Shinesgoldsmith.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for getting so many people started on this journey of finding their relatives. Guys,
You're
we're going to
welcome.
take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
Come back to me.
I want to thank today's guests. We hope this episode helps you fill that empty seat at the table or that empty space in your heart. Please keep up with us on social at Chelsea Show Fox, and we'll see you on the next Chattin' with Chelsea.